you check the children? Your little mess
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil, Laird,
Robert Duell,
and Jaime and Fuego here.
back to review another new Shudder release that is very worth your time. This one is called The Cleansing Hour.
Yikes.
This one released this month. There were a ton of October releases. This was one that was kind of inconspicuous. We had not done a trailer reaction for it. This was just on a massive list that Fuego sent into our Horror Show Facebook group, and I happened to be looking for something to watch the day it dropped, and I was like, oh, let me check out the trailer. I watched the trailer, I was like, ooh, this looks right up my alley. I watched it, I loved it. I really enjoyed this movie. We'll get into the story and everything, but I thought it was a really effective, cool twist on an exorcism story set in today's sort of internet audience capable environment. You know, as a YouTuber, I was particularly interested in this, and the movie didn't disappoint me. I really loved it. Robert?
most definitely. Like, this was one of the ones that I didn't end up watching the trailer, so I didn't have any expectations going in, which is I found sometimes it's a little bit better to do. But other than that, I will say, kind of in the beginning, it kind of dulled me a little bit. But once we really started going, I was in it all the way to the end. Like, there were times where I'm kind of on that nerve wrack, kind of like, what the hell's going to happen right now and everything. And there was a couple times I'm not going to bullshit, and I gave me a couple little jump scares on the stupid moments. I'm just like, why? But no, other than that, yeah, this was one of those kind of nice little gems that probably would have gone under my radar if we didn't have it on here for a review. Fuego?
Yeah, this one was a ton of fun, man. Much better than I was expecting. Much like Robert, I did not watch a trailer beforehand. I think I read a synopsis or something when I saw it initially coming out, but that was really it. And it balanced tone in a way that I always enjoy when there's humor, but there's also like cultural commentary, like especially about, you know, voyeurism and just fandom and all of this other stuff, which was compelling. And it was gory at times when it wanted to be, and the acting was great. There's an interesting dynamic within the friendship that you think one character is a lot worse of a person than they actually reveal themselves to be, which I found very compelling for the narrative. And yeah, it's got a hell of an ending too. Give them that, man.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely that ending actually made me very happy with the entire movie in a whole.
It
Made
raised
you
the
enjoy
movie
it
a whole
more.
point.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because it was a good but bad.
It was good, but that ending really pushed it over the top.
Yeah.
Sold.
So yeah, this movie is about a group of people that run an internet show that is about a priest that exorcises demons every episode. So it's a weekly show. But it's a setup show. They fake it, you know, and we find that out at the very beginning when it's a show that we're like, you know, we cut in on one of their shows one weekend, and it's interesting, it's well produced and everything, but it's fake. Ultimately, it's fake. And so the next time they do it, like, they have to raise the stakes because they're really trying to land a bigger audience and expand their brand, as it were.
He's
and
bitching about not being verified.
Exactly.
Right, he wants to be
media.
verified on Twitter. He wants the check mark. But yeah, it's unfortunately their subject falls through, and so one of their own crew steps in to be the fake exorcised, and it turns out that they have actually been possessed. And the whole story at that point is what happens with that broadcast. Like, the first 25 minutes are set up, and then the remaining amount is that broadcast. What happens? How does the demon play with the priest and the crew and messes with their relationships, forces them to reveal truths that would never have been revealed. It was just a really, really entertaining movie to watch and see unfold. So story-wise, I was really impressed with it.
I would definitely agree, especially on the whole thing of the confessions. Once we got to that point and everything, because there's a reasoning why this demon is doing what it's doing. Obviously, we find that out towards the end. But the overall story that we got with this priest on his fake exorcisms and everything like that is basically just, he's a very vain person. Like, he's very wrapped around his own little world and doesn't really give too much of a shit really about anyone else.
He acts like a goddamn rock star.
Yeah, and that's the thing and whatnot. And but at the same time, it's like And I kind of saw this too, like your televised priests and everything, like your Joel Osteen and crap like that, your fake false prophets, as you'll call them, and everything, which is basically kind of like what they were playing into with this. And I thought that was really nice with the story. There were some things I kind of, I don't know. No, I'm not going to touch on that because that's going to be a spoiler. Yeah, so I'm just going to throw it over to you right now.
Yes, I catch. It's good. No, man, I was especially compelled by the arc, the arc of our main asshole. You know, where he starts out, he's like, "Come, ladies, let me baptize you in my hot tub," sort of thing. And then, especially when you peel back the layers of why he got into what he was doing in the first place, and also the nature of his friendship with the producer guy, and just what they went through as kids, it's rough a bit, man. And also peeling back the layers even more so with the girlfriend and some of the stuff that happens there. Yeah, but what an interesting plot that this monster has, and or this demon, whatever the hell you want to call it, I guess. But also the way there's just all of these audiences around the entire world, and just the upping of the viewership as the broadcast gets crazier and crazier throughout. It's quite compelling. The film accomplished that very well. So yeah, props.
And acting-wise, I was impressed by pretty much everyone. There's some that are weaker than others, but the main key players were really on point, especially Kyle Gallner, who was the producer friend that was also in Red State from Kevin Smith, amongst many other movies. Smallville, yeah.
Flash.
Yep. He's been in a lot of stuff.
That's what I know him originally from. Well, also Red State, obviously, but yeah, it was originally Smallville. He
started
Flash.
to gravitate more towards weird characters, you know.
I enjoyed this.
He was really good in this. Yeah,
he was very compelling, especially on those scenes of. Like when the emotions were really starting to fly, it's like you felt really bad for him. More so for him, honestly, versus our main guy. That's just me.
But the other one I wanted to bring up was the girlfriend. She was
amazing,
incredible. Having a flip flop, obviously, between normal and demon, but her demon was really sadistic and really well delivered. All of her lines.
It was a nice flip of bipolar.
I really dug her performance as well. So.
Yeah, and it's tough to actually do that sort of thing and not have it seem hammy at times, because even you revisit The Exorcist, and there's a lot of people who are like, it's just silly. It's a little too over the top for me. I felt that her performance, the porridge, whatever, was just right, and also even a few snooty sub characters like the girl who's fresh out of film school, who's like correcting terminologies and things like that. She cracked me up, and she doesn't have a large role, but. And then our lead, especially in our main host guy, especially in the third act, man, when stuff gets a lot worse for him. I was just engaged completely. So,
technical aspects. I think it was a well-presented movie. I mean, sure, there were some things that could have been done maybe a little bit better, but I'd be hard-pressed to point out exactly what that would be. I mean, the cinematography accomplished everything they wanted to accomplish. The set design was really interesting enough. Like, I thought it was, it didn't need to blow me away with a crazy Victorian mansion or anything like that. It did everything it was supposed to do just fine as far as technicalities go.
Well, that's the nice thing too is like this movie definitely knew what it was and what it wanted to do, and even with like the small transitions back from the from your audience basically watching from their phones, and then you cut back into the actual broadcast of them in the studio. Those were nice because sometimes they can be a little choppy and it's not always a smooth transition. But one thing I will definitely say is some of our, well, I don't know, it might be more on effects and everything like that. But some of the the lighting what we got with the effects I thought were really nice and well played. They didn't over heavy hand it, so.
Yeah, solid low budget horror filmmaking when you script it to primarily be in one setting, and I mean, granted, you're seeing the audience around the world, and there's those couple flashbacks to some of the church stuff and the school and whatnot, but really, I mean, you didn't have to have a flashy set because you can tell the show was being made on kind of a shoestring budget anyway, so it didn't need to, I mean, like you said, it knew what it was and what it wanted to accomplish, and the script fit that perfectly, so it didn't need to be that sort of flashy setting, so to speak. Yeah.
And then finally, the effects. I mean, the effects were really well done. Most of it was practical. I don't remember a ton of CG, if
just
any.
Enhancements,
just a couple
really.
Enhancements, yeah. But the practical makeup effects on the actual possessed girl were great. I dug it. I dug the effects for this.
Even the main prosthetics that we got at the very end, that was very impressive.
Yeah.
I dug the hell out of the look of that.
Yeah, when the maiming of a certain character is going down.
That too, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, the burning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that burning scene for one, but I'm talking about that very ending scene when it comes back. Like, woof. That was some cool ass practical effects, and that was nicely done again with those light little enhancements, just to again, like I said, just enhance those little details, the bone structures, the skin. Like that's what I like to see in my CG. Like
It was a little sketchy at the end.
Really? I didn't actually mind it.
Tiny.
It was a little highlighted
Really?
from the rest. It didn't feel like it fit on the set, but it was otherwise it was fine. Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with it personally.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No,
Good.
no,
That's it.
we-
Good. All right, we all good?
No, man.
All right,
We hit
so
pretty much all
we'll
the
call it
bases
there
and stuff.
for.
Yeah.
That's it for the cleansing hour. Why don't you guys let us know in the comments down below? Have you watched the cleansing hour? It's on Shudder. It's available.
Do it.
Go watch it.
It's Shudder.
Let us
Come
know
on.
what you thought of it. Come on back here and put your thoughts in those comments down below. But we think it's very much worth your time. I think I've only seen one person say they didn't like it. It might have been Jason Smith. 'Cause
I think it was.
some motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill. You know what I mean? So thank you very much for watching, you
Against
guys.
the grain.
I've been Cecil Laird.
I guess I'm gonna be Robert Duell.
And I'm gonna try to be Fuego. I don't know.
And remember, stay scared.
Thanks to our Patreon. We love you.